In 2024, women are starving and craving for just this one thing, but so few men have tried to offer it. But that has left an opening for the ones that do, because for those men, they get to have the relationships that they really want to have. They don't get cheated on, and they never end up in that barren patch between relationships where they're single and they feel like it's going to go on forever. I have spent the past decade developing myself from being that lonely single virgin into being able to date beautiful girls from all over the world. And now I run a dating company where I help men get the girlfriend that they really want. And what I have found is that there is this one thing that you can offer that will completely change the game. And that is connection. The thing that girls want now that they don't have, that no one seems to be able to offer them, is that sense of true connection. They can get validation and attention from their thousands of followers online or the creepy guy at the office. But that true sense of being connected to another person, that has just been stripped out of our society and out of our communities. So when they see a guy who comes up to them and is able to truly connect with them on a deeper level that isn't just surface level nonsense, they become obsessed with him. And the thing is, any guy can offer this. He doesn't need money, he doesn't need looks. This is a skill that any guy can offer, and I guarantee it will get him way more success, way faster than any apps he could download. This is the thing that truly changed my life and changed my relationships, and it's the primary thing that I work on with clients so that they can offer it, because it's the highest leveraged attribute. So what I'm going to do in this video is break down the practical steps of how you can go from being someone struggling with relationships to having abundance by offering the simple art that is connection. First and foremost, we're going to start with body language. It's one of the easiest things that you can do to just start to have more receptive interactions with people. It's like when you're standing talking to someone, are you hunched over? Are you on your phone? Are you open and expressive? People speak so much about posture, and that's because it is important. I've done the tests and I've walked down streets out of curiosity where I might be hunched over a little bit and maybe my posture isn't that great and I'm not really trying to engage that well. And then I've tried to smile and people will just not interact. They will think you're kind of strange. But I've done it again where I'll have my head up high and then I'll be looking people in the eye, making eye contact, and I'll smile. And then everyone wants to smile back at you because you're offering up an opportunity to connect and they enjoy that. So realizing how much of connection is all through that sense of body language, giving someone your actual attention, facing them with your real body, that when guys speak to girls, they're almost afraid to make eye contact to be truly seen and allow them to be seen by you, because you feel that. You feel that build-up of tension inside you, that pressure. But it's exactly this pressure that causes the most amount of attraction. When I'm on a date with a girl or when I've walked over and approached a girl, I will always make a very concerted effort to make eye contact with them, and not in some creepy way that I'm just not going to blink and I'm going to stare her out, but ensuring that the moment that I go over and say hi, and it's like, hi, you look really cute today. My name's Andrew. What's your name? And then I will make eye contact with her throughout all of that, and she will feel a rush of emotions. And if she's interested, that will lead her highly likely to want to engage in the conversation. And this is the powerful effect of just offering that connection rather than being someone that's cowering behind, hiding away from not trying to really connect for that fear of rejection. Because a lot of what we're going to go through in this video, it comes down to bravery. That's why connection is considered so attractive, because usually it requires you to be brave and make that first step. Like, you're the one that's going to offer up the smile to someone that's coming along. You're the one that's opened up their body and engaging with them. And the reason that people stop doing this kind of thing is because maybe they got rejected a few times and they've decided they don't want to do it anymore. But then that's not very attractive because it sounds like, oh, if I get a few rejections, I don't feel good enough to connect with the world anymore. And that's going to ruin your ability to meet people and have that kind of electric encounter that makes you truly memorable and the foundations for what can only be described as just the dream relationship where you truly trust each other and you're truly bonded. The ones where partners don't go astray. The ones where you seem to know each other on such a depth of level that everyone else becomes invisible. And it all starts with something as simple as just being able to hold yourself straight up, smile, make eye contact, and allow yourself to truly start to connect with a girl. Then, secondly, it's moving into physical touch. Being brave enough, especially on like a first date. I remember the first date I ever went on was an absolute car crash of a disaster, to such a point that like I wasn't looking her in the eye. I was 17. Okay, it was it was not good, but it was a while ago, and we'd messaged for like 3 months beforehand, and I was super excited but super nervous, and like I didn't really look her in the eye. We drove to the cinema. I didn't even attempt to break any kind of physical barriers. I didn't touch her, and then we just watched the movie in silence, got back in the car and left. And it's fair to say, after the date finished, she sent a text to say that whilst she enjoyed hanging out as friends, she wasn't really wanting to pursue it more as a romantic relationship. And I was crushed. But upon reflection, I'd made no attempt to connect with this girl through the date. Fundamentally, like I'd not made that eye contact, which allows you to get more comfortable with each other, which then can allow you to move to physical touch, which oftentimes might just be like a brush of the arm, a momentary hug, anything like this, which just starts to build that sense of connection. Girls at the minute are like often, do you know the term touch starved? That people are going through life right now with touch deprivation, that we've stopped having those casual encounters where we'll meet people, we'll hug, we'll shake hands, and people become genuinely depressed through lack of touch. And I have met an astonishing amount of beautiful girls that I would say are touch deprived, just simply because they've withdrawn a little bit and they don't have someone who's confident enough to go up to high five them, to shake their hand. Like when I exchange names with a girl, I'd say almost every time I will shake their hand, even though you might think that's formal. What it does is just allow you that comfortable barrier of touch to start breaking it down. And I have known that even girls that I've approached that have gone on to say that they're not interested in me, they'll still shake your hand and you'll still have that moment of connection. And this is what you're building to. You're showing that you're not just a stranger. You're having that amount of connection. But it isn't all in the physical realm. Like, I would say the more you progress through the relationship, the more this becomes important, being confident enough to sort of have that real physical closeness, because that's the difference between a friendship and a romantic relationship. It's your level of physical connection. It's like, obviously sleeping together indicates something very different to friendship, and that's the pinnacle of connection, but it starts right at the bottom of you just being comfortable with your arms around each other. And the moment that you stop having that physical connection, your sense of emotional connection will die, because you can't really have one without the other. That's why there's a sort of stigma around sleeping in separate beds, and I'll probably get some hate in the comments of, oh, our relationship works and we sleep in separate beds. Sure, fine. By and large, it's been shown that people who stay in separate beds for long enough, they start to lose that part of the physical intimacy, and that leads to a lack of emotional intimacy and a breakdown of the relationship. So seeing physical connection as paramount to relationship stability is huge. But let's speak to one that you might not have considered, one that's seriously important, and that is a sense of depth and connection that comes from communication. And this is usually where we start to get really brave, because this is where you can establish connections rapidly if you're willing to be brave enough. You have like hundreds of conversations all of the time, but the ones that are memorable, that's usually because someone was brave enough to break what is just the standard flow of conversation of, oh, what is your name? What do you do, etc., etc. It usually only takes one person to be brave enough to put something unique about themselves into it. Maybe it's just sharing an emotional flaw they have, or just a story that is a bit more vulnerable, has a little bit more emotional weight to it. If you go and speak to girls, like I've done this on first dates where I will speak to things that I think aren't like, I'm not trauma dumping or I'm not going way too deep too fast, but I'm just offering up things that are a little bit on the lower, like a little bit more depth. Like I will happily speak to the fact that for me, honestly, like school was some of my worst years. I hated it. I was like severely bullied. I didn't hit puberty till I was like 17 years old. It was really embarrassing. And that essentially made it that I just did not enjoy any of my school years. And all of my best years have been since university and onwards. And it's like, if I just drop that into conversation with someone, I'm not doing it in a way that I need their approval, but it's allowing me to share a little bit of extra depth about me. And then they feel brave enough to kind of share a bit more with you. And then you start to have it like, maybe they had a great time at school, but no one really has that great a time. So then maybe they'll share some of their stories and their experiences. And you start to develop this deeper sense of connection between the two of you based on your willingness to just be brave, to leave yourself out there just a little bit further than you're comfortable with. Because that's why people don't really connect, because we send in just like the avatar that we give to everyone, which is safe and secure, of our standard stories that are popular, that have no real emotional depth to them. The point that you're willing to start to share your like rough edges, some of your flaws and some of your more personal stories, girls fall in love with that because they start to see you as real. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was in my first relationship that I had properly. I was like 21, 22. I felt like I needed to be perfect. Like I was so excited. As I've said, I didn't have a great time growing up. So like this was my first ever girlfriend and I still had a lot of insecurity and thought I needed to present myself as this amazing guy because otherwise why would she be interested? And that led me to never really talk about my flaws, never really, like I'd hide them, actively hide them. And I'd never be truly vulnerable with her because I thought that was the wrong thing, especially because that's a lot of what we're told online, that why on earth would a guy show weakness? That's not attractive. That's not hyper turbo giga chad masculinity. Why on earth would you start to share some of the things that scare you, that you don't really think are the best attributes of yourself? So I hid all that. And what eventually happened was this girl didn't really feel like she knew me, and she didn't offer up those sides of her either. I don't feel like I ever truly knew her, and I don't think she ever truly knew me, because neither of us were willing to show anything other than what we perceived to be our perfect sides. So the moment that relationship hit some level of turbulence, it broke down because we could no longer be perfect. So it just crumbled. And I was devastated, and it made me realize the importance of being real. One of the things that girls look for isn't a perfect guy. It's a guy who's real, because then that allows them to relax and show themselves as who they really are. Like, I cannot tell you how much better it is and how much more amazing it feels to be in a relationship with someone when it's actually you that's in there. It's not the representative of you that you think's acceptable. It's actually you. Like, warts and all, flaws and all, and that person accepts you. Then you have a true relationship. You have a true sense of connection. And it also leads you to be really bonded with that person, which avoids you having to have the difficult moments of feeling like jealousy of all these other things and these other people, because the way that I value my relationships now and the thing that I offer to them is that unique connection with me. And that can't be replaced. One of the reasons we get jealous is simply because we think we might be replaceable. And if the only thing that you offer to a girl is like your looks or your money, well, there's always a better looking guy, and there's always a guy with more money. There's always a guy with a cooler job. Like, what I offer to a girl is that sense of true connection with me, because it's unique. It's irreplaceable. And sure, she can go off and find a connection with someone else, but it'll always be different to this. So that's why I think I don't feel as jealous anymore, because what I'm offering is distinctly mine. And if she decides that no longer works for her, then fine. I'm not willing to change who I am anymore just to have that relationship survive. And this is one of the things that you can get from such a simple thing as offering a depth of connection through conversation, through being someone who is genuinely able to give them your full attention. Because if you think of the modern day now, like, how much time do we spend on our phones getting absolutely riddled with quick dopamine that just doesn't allow us to give that appropriate amount of attention to someone to show we're really invested in them? Like, we don't have that. And this is one of the things that I will do when I'm on a first date with a girl. I'm sitting there. She has my full attention in that moment. And this isn't the wrong thing to do. As I say, we get told all these things which are so badly wrong that maybe you shouldn't give a girl your full attention. Okay, dropping stuff. You shouldn't give a girl your full attention because you need to be a bit aloof and keep them, like, what? Treat them mean, keep them keen. No. When I'm with you, you get my full attention because I want to know about you. I want to ask questions. I want to understand who you are. I want to connect with you. That doesn't mean she has my full attention 24/7 around the clock, but it means that when we're together, we have something special. I'm not checking my phone. I'm not distracted by other stuff. We're there together. And if you can be that guy that she feels like she's truly seen, people love that. Because the thing is, we don't value relationships based on how well we know them. The value of a relationship to us is based on how well they know us. So when we start to share ourselves and offer up this information, we start to value that relationship way more because we feel like we're seen. And if you can do that for girls, that is truly powerful. And that doesn't mean being the simpy best friend that listens to every one of her stories. That means being a guy who is very comfortable there, knowing that this is a romantic relationship of interest and asking those questions to develop a romantic bond, offering up some of your own stories as well so she feels comfortable opening up herself. And when you start to go through and get this level of emotional connection and emotional depth, it's crazy how much faster and how much better the physical connection can get. I think we feel like there's a sense of, like, I don't know, it feels jarring when you maybe have a huge level of physical intimacy but no emotional intimacy. Think one night stand. There's a reason that people say that they're just not as fulfilling as having having sex within a relationship. It's because of this misalignment between emotional intimacy and physical intimacy. But it also works the other way around. If you can develop this really deep level of emotional intimacy, it makes people want to have that physical intimacy with you as well. And I've definitely seen this, that my ability to make girls comfortable in my presence because they feel so connected to me has often led to having really great and more the pace at which we move to physical intimacy increase because we just feel that comfortable with each other. And it's what you can offer. That sense of connection will find you a girlfriend way faster than any kind of dating app, because if you're the guy that walks up to her in public and you're able to go over there, you're able to stand with that posture that opens up, that she feels confident, you're able to look her in the eye and truly see her, whilst being able to be confident enough to move to a level of physical touch and have that communication which makes her feel like you're actually listening. You're asking questions that are relevant. You're really diving into who she truly is and finding that out. Honestly, like, you be that guy that offers this. There'll be a queue of girls around the street because no other guy is. He's wanting to try and impress her with all the things that he isn't. He's not going over there and taking his own authentic self, because through this process, the point of connection is showing who you really are. It isn't lying. It's the guy that can tell the truth. And if you're able to take that across, you've changed the game. This girl won't forget you because you'll fill her with these powerful emotions about who this person was, that he wasn't distracted, he wasn't trying to be somebody that he isn't. He was only trying to connect with you and see if you wanted to connect with him. So if this calls out to you, I guarantee if you start to adopt these habits of just being someone who prioritizes that level of connection, that depth you get, this will change your relationships. And the way to practice that is by going over and approaching girls. I approached over 1,000 girls in my life, and it was an insane help for my ability to just be comfortable. And you don't have to do 1,000, because you know what? I have managed to distill all the lessons that I've got from doing over 1,000 approaches into just one video. So I recommend you check that out right here, and then you can learn the confidence to walk over an approach and then offer connection, because I guarantee that will get you a relationship way faster than any apps.